Hello, and welcome to Bring Me to Quiz. Me, Andy, also known as Angelabra.
Hello, and welcome to Bring Me a Quiz with me, Tom, also known as Auntie Ginger. I don't know why I felt the need to completely copy you then, but why not?
I quite liked it with the thumbs up, which
You're
was
quite welcome.
for those of
Welcome
you
to Bring Me a
watching
Quiz.
rather than listening. It's always not enough thumbs up nowadays. That's what I get in bingo from ladies over 50. It's amazing. Are you having a good time? Top time! It's
Hot time.
amazing. Good times, guys. It's skill. There's an old word. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little tired because I'm in the middle of a very hectic gig weekend. This is sometimes what happens when you get greedy and you're like, oh, I'll have a really nice week and all the money will come in. But when you're in it, you hate your life. However, all the gigs have been really nice. Really, really nice.
Mhm.
Had a good run of a few, which probably means I'm due a stinker, but it's been, touch wood, really good so far. How's your week going? What's going on with you?
Yeah, it's been all right. It's been all right. It has been a bit ups and downs. I mean, this is a bank holiday for those who are listening, obviously a little later than we recorded it. So it should have been super, super busy, and it's still a bit busy. So the quiz happened on Thursday, which was really nice and was really busy. I'm averaging about 15 teams a time now, so it's really good. And then I did not have a gig on Friday because it got cancelled, but it did mean I got to go and watch the Grand 90s Drag Spectacular in Glossop, which was actually really good. And I'll talk about that in a minute. And then on Saturday, you can see a photo behind me if you're seeing it on the screen. There's me and some wild people in Reddish Stockport, which was a bop and bingo. If I move my head, you can even see the butler at the back. That's why there's a man with no shirt on. And that was actually really good. It was really fun. It's a Joseph Holt pub. Bop and Bingo is doing a lot of those, and they're really standard pubs. We're just in like one room of a pub where I think they'd normally have like a DJ or karaoke. But it seems to be working out all right. Numbers weren't huge, but it was the first gig there, so it's not bad going. And then today, once we've recorded this, I'm off to Bolton to do a 40th birthday bingo games spectacular for a while. So yeah, fairly busy. And definitely picking up from last week because I was in Dorset and of course then for did no gigs at all. So yeah, how about you? Oh,
What
you've
I
told us
like,
you're busy, but what's
what
the
I
highlight?
like is that your photo, when you put up a photo that says, "This is why there's a shirtless man and it needs context." On my social media, if I was to put out a photo with a shirtless man, it would not need context.
No,
Uh,
absolutely not.
slightly different lifestyles there. So far this weekend, I did one of my favorite gigs that I do every year, which is at a care home in Sutton Coldfield,
Oh.
the company's Care UK,
Hmm.
and this is one of the particular care homes, and it was the first one I think I ever did pre-lockdown. First care home gig I ever did, and it was one of the reasons I had to buy my own PA all-in-one speaker.
Right.
Um, and it was put on the BBC because so I was on the news way back when because it was some massive thing to have care home drag queens, and we wanted to see how the old people dealt with it. Back then, I did a bit of lip syncing. I didn't have a full hour. That's how many years ago it was. Um, and we had a ball, and they sort of invited me back every single year. And some of the residents remember me, and sometimes they're new ones, and some have sadly passed. But do you know, it's absolutely one of my favorite gigs to do. They really go all out. They have huge bunting of rainbow flags, balloons. Staff make the most impressive, like full rainbow cakes you've ever seen, and lovely little rainbow chocolate popsicle sticks. There were huge buffets, all very edible food, not unsurprisingly.
Hmm.
And families had come to watch. And actually, it was just a real joy. One of the things that really made me laugh, though, about that particular gig, um, it feels like so long ago now, it was only 3 days ago, um, was I'd been sent an email before saying, we've got some really conservative family members. Can you make sure you keep it PG, please, for this particular show. And
Hmm.
that made me laugh because I was like, what is it I said last time that made you think?
Yeah.
But it was there. And I'd just been singing. So I was like, I've made the point at the start of the show. I was like, I'm on best behavior today, guys. I've been told. I'm not gonna go outrageous. I did some simple stuff like, I'm hoping to raid the medicine cabinet today. And it was one of the care home managers' birthdays. I think his name's Tom, and I
Hmm.
suggested that a gift for him might be that I give him a sponge bath. All of that was quite nice. And then I was singing "It Must Be Love" by Madness,
Mm.
which I don't know if you how familiar you are with the song, but there are not a lot of lyrics in that song.
Oh yeah, I know the song. Everyone knows the
Um,
song.
and
I hope.
when I was singing it back, I think there was one of the residents, Sally, I think her name was.
Hmm.
I was like, "Look, everybody, look, it was a song from the '80s, I think.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
We did not need a lot of lyrics in the '80s because we were all busy in the '80s, and Sally just shouted randomly, "We were doing LSD," and I was like, "That's brilliant." I said, "Sally, we've found a loophole. I don't have to be rude, but you can be." And that was brilliant. So Sally just kept on coming in, regaling us with stories of LSD, and it was a wonderful party.
Wow.
But
If there is one drug I associate with the 80s, it's not LSD. It's more of a 60s thing, but
maybe she was hardcore. I mean,
yeah.
what I love about like is how all the staff got behind it. So and how they prepare, and they're just an amazing group of people. And they, like instantly, the second I put down my mic, they were like, "Okay, we're booking you in for next year." So
Mhm.
that was lovely. Friday, I did a gig somewhere that was also lovely. Where was I Friday? I was at Seamus O'Donnell's in Bristol. That was
Mhm.
fun. Um, with my gorgeous social media manager, Jenna from Gumption. Came to watch the show and film it, so there's some content coming from that. In fact, you will probably see various clips from it over the next couple of months because we
Right.
get out. Saturday I did a thanks to a mate of mine from Dover Castle and Leicester. I actually ended up doing a brunch at Las Iguanas in Birmingham.
Hmm.
That was a bit wild. Not everyone knew they'd come for a drag brunch, but actually we had a good time. And people sort of got up for it because it was Birmingham Pride and it was kind of
Yeah.
was the season. And then last night I did Mary's in Cardiff, which was full of rugby players, so I was in my element.
Of course.
Today
With
I've got a
shaped
rep,
balls
and
on the
tomorrow
pitch.
exactly. It was quite
Yes.
fun. We did the hokey cokey, which
Oh, wow. Well, that's what
I've
it's
done it.
all about.
Well, yeah, I have done it several times in the last couple of months, and people kind of give me a raised eyebrow. Most of the staff give me a raised eyebrow when they're like, this is a nice venue. We don't need to bring it to Pontits." I'm like, yeah, but you tell me it isn't working.
I mean, surely it's now like, again, it's like retro cool. It's like hipster retro cool. Like, you'll get the Birdie song out next. And, we do the
Right.
conga every bop and bingo. But the hokey cokey outdoes the conga by I don't know how much because I remember being a very small child and people were doing the hokey cokey. Well, I was doing it because children do it at like 4 years old and it was definitely not new. So,
What I think is wonderful about going to gay bars is that we can all behave like children
mm,
again, and it's acceptable. Only in these sorts of venues can we play musical statues and bloody pass the parcel or
yeah.
musical chairs or and yes, they're children's games and it's dated stuff, but yet somehow there's this wonderful sense of fun where the right sort of vibe and like minds are together. The only fun thing is when you get sort of under 25-year-olds who are looking at you like, what the fuck is happening on?
Yes, I get that quite often. They warm up eventually, but they're a lot more reserved than their mums, who are usually in the same room in the places I do. But
Uh,
yeah, the games are like, yeah. I mean, obviously, I mean, you do too. You can give them like little adult twists. I actually had this week. Someone I has booked me for it's like they're really organized. It's months away and they keep sending me stuff. And it's like a Hindu. And they said, "Oh, we're liking, we're looking forward to seeing you, and we're going to be doing the games. And I've seen a video from you recently. Can we definitely have head, elbows, knees, and cock? That looks amazing." I'm like, "Wow, okay, yes, I'll put that on the list." So yeah, it's
I
quite
quite
funny.
like it when you get those specific requests, though.
Yeah.
It's nice that they're paying attention.
Mm,
Um, Sometimes I don't want to honour the specific request, but if they ask nicely enough,
yeah.
it's nice when people, you know, try and create something that they want.
Yeah,
Um,
sorry, just like I think I told you this before, but it's worth saying again because I've got this one next week, which is the 60th birthday. And then it was just like, what can we do? She'll give me your ideas. I'm like, right, we'll do a bit of bingo, we'll do karaoke, I'll DJ, and I'll tell jokes. And she's like, oh, sounds great, except for the bingo and the karaoke. I'm like, okay, DJing and telling jokes it is. I mean, I like doing bingo because I get kind of bored DJing. There we go. So yeah, she's curating. I did check in on the music though. She was like, it was 60th birthday. It's like 70s, 80s, no 60s. Don't want 60s. I'm like, okay, good. Don't have much 60s. You're safe on that.
yeah. I have to Google stuff these days. From like hits from the decade on Spotify, and then I'll go onto my actual music system and download the correct tracks. So, tell me about this gig on Friday in Glossop.
Definitely that segues really nicely because it's the second one. I performed at the first one, which was the Halloween evening at the Norfolk Arms. And then I thought, oh, well, I might be popping in on this on the way back from a gig because it was like open till 2. But as it was, Preston, didn't happen. So I went down and I got some people together because although I know the organisers, obviously they're busy running it. So I was like, who wants to come? I found a couple of friends around Glossop who like, and they're like, is Angela coming? I'm like, I hadn't thought of that, maybe. And then on the day, I was like, yeah, Angela's coming. It's really weird for me to go out on a Friday and not be Angela. So, but it was funny because I thought, what I'll do is because I'm not on stage, um, and I just want to sort of mix in, it'll be fine. I won't go all out. I'll tone it down a bit and or like go for classy rather than crazy. And we start watching, and the MC Coco something or other, who was really good, although that's not really helped them, was immediately like, I just got to say, you look fabulous. Give us a twirl. I'm like, well, that took all of 6 seconds to be highlighted. Oh well. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure someone said you do know they're actually a drag queen. This isn't just some random who's had a go. I'm like, it'd be painful if you thought I just had a go. But it was really nice. It was really nice to watch them because the night was organized into like this is what Jamie does. He does like 3 sets and on the hour. He says on the hour, except it was on the half hour. Didn't make sense. But they and it was Kirk MC, and then they had
Laura,
a horror
how was she?
who was good, like very professional, obviously, and that she was the one that there was a lot of people there, and I was worried because I was a bit like, Halloween is Halloween. Glossop is not a hotbed of drag. This is the only thing that happens in Glossop. I gave up, although we have got a Bop and Bingo there in September, and um. But so yeah, it was really, really busy. But most of them, judging by who wanted to take selfies with who, Ahura was the draw. They were there for that. And they did, because it was 90s, they did like a Cher um tribute, they did Believe. And then they did what was the other one? I've forgotten. But it was both 90s, both lip syncs. They did say hey, and a few jokes, which a lot of them were like linked to little references from Drag Race. And like, yeah, you know your brand. And then but it was like 5 minutes a time. It was just a little 5 minute thing, but they did it 3 times over through the night. And then we had a lot of body who is, I think, in Hyde, and we follow each other. So I said I would chat to them, and they were funny because I'm like, they're 22, and like what you've just said about what is the 90s tap 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 tap, and like so they are like, yeah, I got to kind of research it. I'm like, ouch. You're culturally appropriating my youth. Stop it. Um,
Alata has been doing drag a long time. She knows what the 90s is.
Okay. I got the impression she was, she looked well presented. Her lip sync was very good. Can't be doing it
Lot,
that long if she's
a lot has
22.
a lot has been doing it for several years.
Hmm. And so that was good. And then they always want to put on like they call them a local act. So I was a local act last time, which, as I remember telling you, was a car crash. I was put in charge of leading a Masioki karaoke thing, except nobody turned up to press play on the tracks, and we had to rely on an incredibly drunk local landlord called Leon to do it, who really didn't, or did it occasionally and was so whacked out, people had to shout at him to press play. And so it was painful, very painful, my worst gig of the year, though I still love the gig. But Leon had decided he's done drag before. He performs as Pandemic and hadn't done it for like years. And I love the way that, like, with me, it was like, we're going to be doing like this. It's going to be like, you're going to have all this tech and it's going to be Masioki and have a big screen behind you. And by the time I got there, I was looking at a screen. No one else could see the screen. It was effectively me singing at people with huge gaps in between the songs. And of course, on the spiel, it was like Jamie and not Leon, Jamie and Pam will be doing a 90s music quiz in the middle. I was like, oh, that's an interesting idea. Did the quiz happen? No, it didn't. Just Pam just had to rock up and do a lip sync to Mika, and it was fine, absolutely fine. But it was just funny because obviously, I mean, they know the song inside out, but they weren't expecting to do that. So it was like that was a bit erratic, and it's like, well, to be fair, they don't do it very often, and they weren't planning to do it tonight. So, well done for
Me,
doing it.
lip syncing is a dying art, and I've been known not to really be pro lip syncing, but
Mm.
and this may be a sore subject, Angela, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. But you and I recently went head to head in a little lip syncing competition
Yes,
in
we did.
in Warrington, and just boys and girls that may be listening, I won. Uh,
Yes. Although in a very, I mean, you were clearly going to win. It was very strange that you were on so early. But I did like it because it was so muddled. Like I finished, I got very high scores, but not the highest scores. I thought, oh, I'm like just above the mid-table in this lot, which is painful. Except at the end, it was like, well, obviously the winners are the Queens, which is me and you, and then said, but our winner is Ginger. So I was like, oh, I've been mysteriously upgraded since you did the
I
the
think
actual
it was
panel.
so funny. When you were just talking about the lip sync, and then it just reminded me of our little foray into lip sync smackdowns.
It was.
I
We should
really
talk
enjoyed.
about this. Let's dive this one. Go on. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, well, I really enjoyed your performance of "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" with the mountains on your nipples. Um,
Yes.
you committed to a full concept.
Some would say I peaked. Yes.
Yeah, you peaked too early.
Peaked
Yeah,
too
I
early.
love
They came out at the end. It was I peaked late, if anything.
that. I thought you looked great. I thought you had the most thought out concepts in terms of what you wore. The energy was really good. I kind of had a nice deadpan. You were like, I'm taking this really seriously look about it. You went and performed. I really enjoyed your performance. I did Fuck Me by Wendy Ho, which,
Yes.
and I went back and forth, as you know, in the group chat for weeks, where everyone was like saying what they were doing
Yeah.
really early on, and I just didn't commit until the last possible second
Hmm.
because I had it in my head. I was like, oh, I don't want to steal someone else's comedy, like just by doing a lip sync that's already a parody, and that get me the points. And I was like, what can I do that makes it mine? And I thought about doing the First Wives Club, but it wasn't. But that's not funny. And I thought, well, I can't. If I was singing it, I can make it mine. But if I'm lip syncing it, it's just taking the track. So, but I managed to do the audience interaction in a way that's not written into the track, and I think that gave it life. And I think that made it my own enough that I got some of my own laughs.
What I think is key about it was because even though you may have done it last minute, it was well judged because this lip sync thing was not, for anyone's listening who doesn't realize, was not at a it wasn't a drag competition. It wasn't a gay bar. It was with the greatest respect, it was a comedy open mic. Like the everyone, and it felt like a comedy open mic. It was lovely, and I do loads of them, or at least I did. I did still do them occasionally. It's all a bit like, who's on next? Oh, I don't know. Hang on a minute. Let me check my notes. Let's press play. Oh, not that one. Let's do that one. There we go. Off we go. Welcome to the stage. And it's beautiful because it's so community and it's exactly what that level of comedy is. And I liked that. I think I'm right, aren't I? Basically, everyone else on that bill, the other four or whatever it was, or
They're
five
all
if you
coming.
include, actually more than that if you include the organisers. They are primarily, well, no, exclusively in most cases, comedians, and they are also very new comedians. Some of them, so
Yeah.
they've just about cobbled together their first 10, and now they're doing a lip sync. And it's like you do realize these things have nothing in common, and they're doing it for a laugh, and that's great. And I appreciate that. Although I do think Jill G, who runs it, definitely loves drag and lip syncs.
Yeah,
And
I feel like
whoever her friend was with them, I think they knew each other quite well. There was the other woman who did a what was she? Because we had a talking vagina or anus. I can't remember. One of
yes,
those.
that was Jill's.
That was Jill's, and then we had
We had S&M Granny.
that is what I'm talking about. Yes, because it goes na na as in nana.
Na 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 na
So
na.
yes, a kinky granny, and that was very well thought. So there's a couple of comedians here who really like drag, and that's why they are promoting this sort of crossover night. But then the rest of the comedians they've got in are comedians. They're like, I'm going to do a lip sync. And there was a lovely Robbie Williams tribute. It was just
That
like
was the one I was thinking about. That was true. It's terrible.
halfway through, he was like, I focused on the makeup because he had the full Robbie Williams like black and white Kiss makeup, but I kind of forgot about the song. And it's like,
He
ah,
gave all. He gave
ah,
all.
if you
I
don't
mean,
have,
yeah. If it had been a serious prize, I probably wouldn't have done it because it would have been like I'm taken out of the mouths of people that are trying to start something. But no
Mm.
one's trying to start a career in lip sync in that room. And no one's taken the night that seriously. It was a little plastic trophy. And I was very happy to walk away glorious.
Glorious from it.
But I think you and I absolutely smashed it.
We're both welcome to do the because it was like a sort of
Oh yeah.
open night because then you can be upgraded to like doing it at hot water. When hot water is very prestigious, it's great to do something at hot water. We have both been invited to go and do it at hot water, but I don't think I've got space in my diary.
I have no interest in starting a lip sync career. It was fun, but
I
yeah,
think what you gave them was this is a drag queen lip sync, and because you played it quite like I'm a big crazy drag queen and I'm gonna be on your knee and I'm gonna be in your face, and they're not used to it, and they're like, "Wow, this is incredible!" Like so, I think I thought it was well judged for the audience what you did. So yeah, yeah, it was fun. It was all right, wasn't it? Got to do these things
well,
to push ourselves.
talking of contests because it's a nice segue.
Mm.
So I just did the semi-finals of the Not So New Comedian of the Year uh,
Mm.
at the Museum of, and I didn't make it through to the final.
Oh,
I'll say this on both of the weeks that I did the heat and then the semi-final. The person that went on first got through. And on both of the weeks that I did it, there was at least one act who brought basically 90% of the audience who get a vote.
yep.
And on neither of those weeks did the person who brought 90% of the audience plus get through. So I'm not sure that the audience vote makes that much of a difference.
It's a bit like in school when you used to get the kids to make decisions, but the teacher suddenly has a vote that's worth 30 or something.
Yeah, I wonder what the weighting is.
Mm.
It was a very strong heat.
Uh-huh.
everybody was good. I think everyone had, apart from maybe one or two, easily more than the time that was allotted.
Right.
Like some of them had clearly been going a while.
Yes. Well,
I
as
was
the
one
name
of
suggests.
I was one of the one few that did a completely different set for the second
Oh
heat.
God, they repeated their sets.
A
Some
couple
of them.
repeat.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was like, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah, it
When
does
you get
suggest you don't have much material.
yeah, it's just odd. Um, like, would you carry that through to the final?
Hmm.
It's an interesting choice. Um, but yeah, don't regret doing it. Not sure I'm going to compete again, but
Hmm.
made some nice connections. Had a couple of inquiries for work for it, so you know, nothing ventured, nothing gained on these things.
Hmm.
Fabulous to do that venue. In fact, a lot of people are sort of taking their Fringe show either for a preview or post Fringe, and I was sat there thinking, I could have just done this to do this venue, but then of course we've got probably venue hire, rental, and other things to think about. So
Hmm.
that was an experience.
Yes.
So, I sort of stopped your flow of you talking about your weekend. You
Hmm.
talked about your little gig and glossop, and
A
you
little
went out
glossip
with a
gig.
lot of body. And
I jump back in and say I still have forgotten their last name, but Coco was the one I was. I thought they were all good. Don't get me wrong, because I did. I actually thought they were, but I learnt most from watching Coco because they, as an MC, they did like three times as long as everyone else. In each set, they did about 15 minutes. And, shock horror, I don't see that much track because I don't perform in cabaret bars. So it's always nice to see what actually happens. And they say, oh, we want someone to MC the night like that. And also to an audience who are not particularly au fait with the conventions. And the fact that they were up there, they told a few jokes, and you're like, and the jokes sort of work, but you're like, the audience are chatty, they can't follow it. I'm like, yeah, I remember this is an experience I've had, like where, you need to crack on, you need to just be like, tell something a bit rude, start people singing something, get someone up, play a game, and they threw it all out, and it worked. Like it worked, and complete with like a constant recall of getting people up to down a drink and having a little song that goes with it. I didn't know this song, but I don't know where it's from, but I think it's a very common song. It's like we all drink with La La because La La is our mate. Do 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 do
are
do, and drinks it down in 8 7 6 5.
are
That
you having a joke with me?
why?
You were not familiar with this song.
Nope.
If I had a penny for every person who's ever said, we like to drink with Penny because Penny is our mate. And when we drink with Penny, she downs it all. I love the idea that you've not heard of that because, I mean, Penny's been working 17 nights a week since 1984. And she's never done a gig without doing that thing. And it's well known. I
So
don't
you know who
know.
actually invented it?
I don't know if Penny invented it.
Who is Penny?
Miss Penny.
Oh, right. Okay.
Uh, like she's the one that's known for it on the drag circuit.
Uh,
I have seen other drag queens do it. I won't do it because it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's pennies. But it doesn't surprise me that other people are doing it
I was
at
given the
all.
impression I got because so many people knew it in the bar, and of course there are LGBTQ in the bar because it's an event that's going to attract the Glossop group. I know about that, so maybe it was them, but it sounds so much like a thing you'd sing at a rugby club, or something like that. I thought maybe it's literally from the
Maybe it is.
terraces,
Maybe it's
you
just
know.
like public domain pub culture stuff. But like
But anyway, I've used it now.
in the world of drag, Penny.
On Saturday, like at this gig, this is how I know that maybe it isn't. But then he has been Cameron, who obviously runs Bottom Bingo. When someone was having a drink, he's never done it before, and suddenly he tried to sing that to get them to down their drink, but he did it really badly. It was like it was all over the place. It didn't rhyme. It didn't have the rhythm, but my ear picked up and like, oh, I heard that last night. So then I said, next time we got someone to down their drink, I was like, I'm going to teach you how to do that one properly, Cameron. And led the audience in it. But the fact that he knows it, and although he's gay and has been on Canal Street, he's not someone who goes to drag shows all the time. So again, makes me wonder, is it
maybe.
he's more likely to be in a pub in Oldham. It's not, where people get drunk and it's a bit rough. So, which is why I just assumed that chant was from a drinking song, like in a pub.
Yeah,
I'm
but
a bit
it's the
posh. I
same
don't
as
I don't go
like
in such places.
it's the same as like Oggy 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 or
Yes,
Iwi Iwi Iwi. It's so public domain. That's why I won't ever go there. Like I mean, it's almost impossible to know the source.
exactly.
You know,
And I'm kind of
it's just
like, I will probably use it if I'm honest, because it seems ubiquitous is the word. And you're the first person to tell me that it actually could be credited to someone.
I may be wrong. All I'm saying is she's well associated with it, like to the extent that I'm like, it would just be really weird. It's like Mary Mack's known for doing Akai the Now, which is of course a Scottish thing
Hmm.
other than a Mary thing, but because it's Mary's, I wouldn't touch it even if I was in Scotland. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think I'm more focused on trying to do my own thing. And sometimes in drag, you can't get away from it. They'll be like, "Oh, we've heard someone do something similar." I'm like, "What? You've heard someone else sing ABBA?" Yes, of course you fucking have. But I do try and put my own stamp on things.
I think you
Um,
do. I think everyone does, particularly when you're doing a set. I just wonder whether when you're in the context of emceeing
mhm.
bingo or emceeing a night where it's a variety of acts, I mean, you'd hope that would be a little more unique actually. But given the audience in Glossop, I'd
Yeah,
like you do actually need to go base. You
yeah,
need to
yeah,
do
yeah.
things to because you could sit, I've done it myself. You try and be clever,
No, they won't have it.
go home. It's not.
Yeah, like, but I think it's how you do it, though, isn't it?
Hmm.
Like Fanny Burns, who we wish her well. She's got a problem with her appendix, I believe, at the moment.
Oh.
She so and one of the things I did joke with her. She always says during bingo, if you're like one number away from a line, you have to tell the drag queen, you have to tell Fanny that your fanny's burning. And ironically, now her fanny is literally burning. But she does something which I really enjoy, which is whenever a bingo number ends in number 7, she'll get everyone to sing like it's a choir. So it'll be like
Yeah.
57, take me to heaven, and the audience will go, oh. Anything with a 7, you get the same thing. And I quite like that she has her stamp on that. I wouldn't touch that. But
Yeah,
in the
I have
same,
all rhymes that I think are mine. There's some that probably aren't, but most are.
yeah, I
And
mean, it has to be effective. That's the thing. Can't be too intelligent, but it can be effective. Like I
oh,
do.
beyond dumb. I like 8 and 1, 81. It takes a long time to come when you're 81.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah.
it'll get a laugh. People are like, oh, how rude.
81. Don't come on you. Anyway, yeah, same thing. We all have our own
It's so
thing.
juvenile, but
It is.
juvenile works. It's like, oh,
It
two
does.
rhymes with poo, three rhymes with wee. Like, we're back in the playground. It's,
Yep. Well, I think this is what we're coming to. The joy of being in these spaces is that we get to act like children.
yes,
It's
yes,
wonderful.
it is.
Um, so yeah, bingo. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, yeah, one of my favorites is at 38 Christmas cake, or as I prefer to call it, cake.
Cake. Yes.
Don't have to wait till Christmas. Oh, that's quite hilarious, really. Oh,
Mm.
I want to talk about a new trend. It's probably
Oh
not.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Before you talk about your trend,
Hmm.
I talk about things people are doing everywhere, and it is and inspired by each other. I did want to, because I told you earlier, your talk about defying gravity last time has
Uh,
become, was a story for me last night because after my gig with these lovely people, because it was in Reddish, Stockport, which is only 25 minutes drive from home for me, I drove back and stopped off at my favourite bar in Glossop. It's actually my favourite. I mean, I like the Norfolk Arms, but I drink at Meehan's because it's very small. It gives me the vibes of Cheers. That's an 80s reference, where everybody knows your name. And And I went and they are well aware of Angela, and so I went and get a drink and I'm chatting to people, and then very late, like near it closing, this group of four who are outspoken, happy-go-lucky gays. Let's put it like that. They're wonderful, and they are super camp. And they come in, and immediately Ryan is just like, "I'm gonna play all the songs we want to hear," and eventually ends up it was musicals all the way, and then we end up with Defying Gravity. At which point, the owner of this, the proprietor of this venue, young Ryan, yanks a bin bag over his head and rides around on a mop while singing. And I'm like, right, me Hans has just become a cabaret bar.
Please let it stop.
They were in fine voice, and they do all the talky bits too. I was like, I'm again. This is why we go. Oh, you're not gay. I'm like, I really don't watch enough musicals to be gay. I don't know the words. I knew what it was, but that
You
was
saw the
it. I
broom,
haven't even
saw the
watched
bin bag,
Wicked.
and you thought, for fuck's
When
sake.
I saw the mop get grabbed, I was like, I know a story about this. And did tell them afterwards. I said, did
I
you
mean,
know
I
across the
just,
country, every bar now has a broom waiting for the Queen who's
yes,
going to do it?
not a broom for cleaning anymore.
No.
It's the Defying Gravity broom.
Yes.
Every venue has its own Defying Gravity broom. I just think that is so stupid. Like, and we're going to kill it. This is like Padam Padam, right? We get into something and then the gays ruin it, and we can't have nice things. Stop, ruin it. I mean, Wicked, in my opinion, and I will be slated for saying this if we put this minute in the show.
Hmm.
Um, Wicked wasn't that great anyway. Don't make it worse by killing it. All right. But yeah, that's so funny. That's so funny to me. Um,
Anyway, there's my plug. So I hope you're
there you go.
listening, Ryan. Everyone go and drink in Ryan's bar, Meehan's, High Street on Glossop. Open all
Make a
night.
note. Make a note of the time. Let's put this out there. Let's put this out there for our socials.
1:50 a.m. every Friday night. Performance of Defying Gravity.
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. I mean, I love a tradition. I
Hmm.
just think we're killing it a little bit. A couple of things. Three things I want to get out there. It's
Yes.
coming up to 2 o'clock.
Trend
So,
you wanted to talk about.
friend, I've heard of something called Mr. B&B.
Right.
I was talking to someone about this the other day. I was like, "Oh, accommodation is really expensive when you travel," and they said, "Oh, have you heard of Mr. B&B?" And apparently, it's like a gay Airbnb, but you can rent the other side of someone's bed.
Right.
So imagine, like, I have a nice little flat in Berlin or something, and I'm like, if you want to rent the other half of my bed for a couple of days, off you go. And apparently, you can sort of say, I don't know, I haven't looked this up, so I don't know whether you can book services or whether you have to be clear in the booking process about whether or not you'd want sexual contact.
No
But
strings or lots of ropes.
yeah,
One of the
yeah,
two.
I don't know about that, but I'm going to be looking into it, and I will be giving you an update on Mr. B&B. But it's wild to me that not only is it my spare room or my spare sofa, it could now be part of my bed that I'm sleeping in.
I'm just like, cost of living crisis, accommodation crisis, what crisis? We're now renting
Yeah,
out the other side of our bed.
yeah. And now it's like, oh, are we gonna exchange nudes before we do that? I don't know. This is an interesting.
Are you on your bed at the moment?
I am.
You are. I just love it if we were doing this in a couple of weeks' time and it pans over and there's just some bloke asleep
Yeah,
next to you. You're like, nothing happened here.
50 quid a
Just
week.
renting the room,
Yeah, 50
renting
quid
the
a week right
space.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
What
God.
else? So that's number one. Number two, I want to talk about last two things on my list for today. Getting things out of people creatively.
Right. I was gonna say, what, nails in their foot or something? Go on.
Well,
Well,
but yeah, sometimes it's like extracting a nail. Um, like I was trying to get some footage of a Scottish clip, for my friend's show, and literally, I must have asked 12 Scottish people. I was like, all I need you to do is look at the camera and tell me to fuck off because it's a punchline to a setup of a joke.
Hmm.
Very simple. Get a phone, be in decent lighting, look at the camera, say fuck off in a Scottish accent, and send me the clip. Nothing.
Nothing.
And it's like people are, oh, I'll get to it this weekend. I'm like, you've got your phone in your hand. Do it now. I'm not asking you to dress up. I just want to use you for your accent. I will put a credit of you on the show. Or just say you're not up for it. But it's a bit like getting people to submit a gig gone wrong story, which I haven't got this week. It's not a criticism. Everyone has lives. But, it's a bit of a, oh, I'll do it in a couple of days. I'm like, you and I full well know, unless you do it there and then, it doesn't happen.
Hmm.
Anyway, Jackie Boy came to the rescue.
Oh
Um,
yes, yes. Well, it has whole set about her
being
terrifying
Scottish and
accent.
intimidating,
Do you
exactly.
think I'm funny?
So they came to the rescue. We got there, but was not for lack of trying. So, if creatives are asking you people to help you and you are their friends, just say, no, not for me, thanks. And, don't commit or just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, because we love you. I love you. And I love all the people that help me with this job. I'm very privileged. But yeah, I think it's difficult when you're sort of trying to convey to people, we do work to deadlines.
Yes.
And the last thing I want to talk about was just touching on, you said something about before, and we mentioned this in the pre-chat, was dressing up for free.
Okay.
So
Yes.
you
Oh,
went,
you mean because of like when I went out in Glossop?
you went out at Zanzibar in Glossop,
I
and
did.
you were talking about the Courtney Act thing.
Oh, because Courtney Act, yes, famously, at least in my head it's famous, famously said that when they started presenting as Courtney for shows in uni, so we're talking a while back because Courtney Act's a similar age to me, they found that slowly but surely, I think their boy name is Andrew, I think.
I'm not
Am I
sure.
wrong? I don't know. But they were finding that as time went on, Courtney was getting way more invites to parties than he was. And that's where it all just went off because it did. And that's, completely valid because, like me, just enjoys doing it. I don't imagine he was asked to perform at these places, just added a touch of glamour and how exciting when you're 19 or whatever. It's anything goes time, isn't it? Yeah, I
I
think
think
it was.
it has to be your choice. Um,
I think with Courtney though, although they do have some different looks, like they do, they're kind of one of my inspirations because they present like as quite a realistic woman at times.
Feminine, yeah.
And other times it's they're just yeah they've got a range, total range, but a lot of the time yeah it's very feminine, it's very believable is my point. Like a lot of people would mistake them for being a woman, and and so it's a bit different than I know I assume you can answer this. I think it's a bit different to what you do because would you want to go for a party or drinks as Ginger unless you were being paid?
I mean, my thing is like I get more attention as Ginger.
Hmm.
Not necessarily the kind of attention I want. Well, a lot of the people who are like, "Oh, I want to sleep with you, Ginger." I'm like, right, yeah, but when I take the dress off, you don't. You'll look right through me. So this is just a game, right?
Hmm.
So there's no point doing it for sexual attention because it's not real sexual attention. And in terms of doing it for fun, I do drag enough. Like I used to go out and do drag for fun, but once you start doing it for a living and you've done it 5, 6 nights a week, you've done all of the doing there is to do. Like I love connecting with queer people in venues. I love performing and I love making people laugh on purpose. But it's a lot of work to get into what we wear.
Hmm.
So to do it just for fun, it really has to be my choice.
Well, of
And I
course. Well, that's
will
actually
do it.
part of the reason I think it's a like why I did it on Friday. For a start, I was supporting a drag night in Glossop. I live in Glossop. Everyone knows I live in Glossop, and more than enough people asked if I was going to anyway. And and it wasn't a hassle, and I wasn't at work. And I would have gone after the gig anyway, and I wasn't getting paid to turn up. I would just go because I wanted to see people and say hello. Uh, and but I wouldn't do it like just randomly. I certainly wouldn't like this links to like I mean it's slightly different, but we spoke in the week about open drag nights, which seem to now be happening on like a Sunday or a Monday, and it's essentially the drag version of open mic. I presume it's all like you've got one song to sing or lip sync or do whatever it is, and there's stacks of people on the bill. And you're filling the room essentially with the acts, and maybe they've got some friends. Like that's my vibe because that's based on what I know from open mic, which I think is all right, especially if you're new, because it's
Yeah,
really hard to get experience as far as I can see in drag. Like, because
kind of what I
unlike
used.
comedy, where people can do it for years for no money because they just enjoy it, it's a hobby, and there's no great getting dressed up required. It's just intellectually stimulating. It's a way to have a social life, and they're not looking to be on live at the Apollo. Maybe they are secretly, but you can do it for years, and there's nothing wrong. You haven't failed if you're still doing it 5 years later, because actually that's just what you like. Like, people play guitar and go to open mic nights. They're not looking to get
No.
signed. They're doing it because they enjoy the moment.
And I think if everyone was looking to reach the top, there'd be a lot of frustrated people. And there already are lots of frustrated
Yes, I was
people.
going to say
So,
most musicians, drag queens, comedians are in that bracket.
but I think, yeah, I'm not saying never because I do sometimes do it. A queen I know, Claudia, she's drag DJ. Um, when she used to drag DJ when I'd be on stage in cabaret, doing
Mm,
cabaret shows, she'd put her heels on behind the DJ box in some kind of solidarity because she used to enjoy, being in full drag when the drag was happening, and that was for her. I used to
mhm.
look at her with like she had two heads because I was like, no one can see your feet. Why are you bothering? And she's like, it makes me feel good. I'm like, yeah, that's good when you're doing it for you and
Yeah.
you're enjoying it for you. I like that. And there are moments where I want to do that, but I don't want to. I don't want to distract from the queen that's on stage ever, and I also don't want to feel like I'm working for free.
Mm.
So if it's then, oh, well, can you come on and do a number, or can you, I'm like, okay, let's have some limits, I suppose. But I, as Ginger, have been doing drag for 9 years, and I've never paid for a drink in drag once. So there are benefits to sometimes nipping out, when you've got your wig on. I've
Mm.
done it on the way back from a gig, nip into a bar, and they'll be like, "Yeah, don't you worry, Ginger will wave you in." Whereas if I go as Tom, I sort of have to explain, "Do you know who I am?"
Yeah.
So there are pros and cons, I
I remember
guess.
when it was a few years ago, they won't mind me saying, Tina, who's been on our worst gigs, it was Edinburgh a couple of years ago. I think they had their show. It was a short run. But then when they weren't doing the gig, they went out to the local gay bars in Edinburgh dressed as like a drag penguin. It was absolutely mad, but it was like, look at me. And it worked. They didn't pay for a drink night in, night out, and they got a lot of attention and they liked that. And I was like, you've got your reasons. Why not? But yeah, I think getting back to like, no, let's make it serious. Like, the problem with like an open drag night is if people start expecting you, oh yeah, come and do it every week, and then after like weeks and weeks and weeks, or maybe months and months and months, and you're like, still haven't got any paid work, and it's because now we've got a huge funnel of people doing it for free, and with comedy, there's a lot of argument. There's been arguments about this for years that certain comedy nights like that put people off comedy because someone comes along, watches something they don't realize is like a sort of newbie's night. And they go, oh God, stand-up comedy in pubs is awful. I'm not going to that again. And you're like, there's an open mic, and maybe it should have been more explicit about that. You don't want an open drag night doing that too. If you're a bar, if you are a cabaret
Right.
bar, and you do that on a Monday, and someone who's new who maybe isn't well informed sees it and goes, "Oh my God, okay, it's amateur hour."
I think that should be negated by having a good MC
Yes, really helps.
that's like, okay, I'm a pro queen. I'm hosting this night. This is a night for people to cut their teeth. Anyone can come up and have a go. All you have to do is love drag. Like the positioning's everything, I think. Otherwise, so it doesn't feel like exploitation, or it is a good chance for people to go up and get their oats or whatever. So
yeah, I'm not performing for oats. I'll just be clear there. That's it. When it costs a living, you get a bag of porridge. That's it.
time we've been reduced to seed.
Hey.
So look at what you've done to me.
Taking a lot of flax. It's,
oh, so simple.
That's actually a cereal.
I know. So should we talk about what we've got coming up?
We should, because we have about 10 minutes. I'm going to give you that little heads up that this gets my diary. Coming up. Tonight, private gig. You can't come. That's it. Done. Next, we move to next week. So I'm away for a few days, seeing other family this time after doing Dorset last time. But come Thursday, I'm back with Quizingo in Leeds, which is, of course, very popular, and turn up early because at this point people are now having to sit on tables which are behind a wall so they can hear what's going on but they can't really see. So get in early to get your table. Chicken dinner, £6. It's the cheapest meal I've seen in a pub and it's really actually quite good. So that's Quizingo. That's on Thursday at the Traveller's Rest in Leeds. And then on the 30th, I am in Derby for the Ram Comedy Festival. So after doing a little promo spot earlier in the night at 9:30 p.m, Secret Diary of a Bingo Call Girl is at the Royal Standard. And tickets are a £5. So I sold a few. I'd like to sell a lot more. Come and get some tickets. Come and watch because it will be really, really fun. And what was it? I'll plug it, Lancaster, Joke of the Fest. Come and see that Joke of the Fest if you like. So it'll be fun. And then on the 31st, which is the Saturday, I'm doing a 60th birthday party. So no one can come to that. And then I'll only go forward another week. Then I've got my quiz on the Thursday, and I am in Blackpool on the 7th of June with Bop and Bingo at their football club. I've forgotten the name of the actual clubhouse, but it's linked to Blackpool Football Club. And I am looking for a gig on June the 9th because the one I had has been postponed to August. So I have a spot if anyone wants to book me. Over to you.
Main ones I want to plug. I've got a debut at the La Vida in Felixstowe on the Friday next week, which is I think the 30th, 29th.
Oh, right. Yeah. It is. If it's the Friday, it's the 30th.
30th. Yep, there we go. Saturday I'm at Dream Boys, and I've also got my Assembly Bangers school themed brunch at the Yard in Coventry on the same day. And then on Sunday, I am at Blades in Leeds. So those are it's all cabaret circuit gigs. Otherwise, you can find me antiginger.com and go through my diary, and you can find out where I am for the rest of the year. Things I really like people to pay money to come and support, please, on my Fringe previews, which is Leicester at the Blackbird on the 12th of June, Bar Pop on the 19th of June in Manchester, and on the 25th of June at the Two Brewers in Clapham. Leicester in particular, I'm going to be honest, isn't selling great. So if you want it to go ahead, buy your tickets, please, to the 12th of June, 19th of June and 25th of June. We've got some numbers. It would be great to see more numbers. Neither are sold out. Get on there, support the show. Ginger's Problem Area. It's got sketches. It's got songs. It's brand new. My mate Dolly Diamond just read the script and she thought it was hilarious. So, I've got great visuals. I've had an amazing Queen working on my visuals, and then you and I are helping me getting into a queuing system.
We're helping you out with some tech.
Yeah. So the show's going to be good. Please come and support it. Apart from that, I've got nothing else to say. Apart from this has been a joy. We've kept ourselves to less than an hour, so well done us.
Hurrah.
And thank you to all the listeners. I think it's the only thing I want to say. Thank you to those that stay with us. Thank you to those that bear with us. Give us feedback, rate us 5 stars, submit worst gigs or questions, and we'll answer them.
Absolutely.
And apart from that, last thank yous to you. Thank you for doing this, Andy.
Thank you to you too. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
See you then. Bye.
Bring me to Queers.